Morning. This is Pastor Everett Bell from the Bethel AME Church in Monrovia, better known as Bethel Monrovia. Have you ever heard someone say, "What goes around comes around," suggesting that whatever we do, the same thing is done to us? I want you to know that that's a biblical principle. And if you take a look at the 6th chapter of Luke, right around the 35th through the 37th verses, you'll see this principle played out in a discussion that Jesus shares with his followers. He basically says, "Judge not, and you won't be judged. Condemn not, and you won't be condemned. Forgive, and you shall be forgiven." And then he says something interesting. He shifts from that and he says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, shall others give unto you." And I want to spend a few minutes today talking about this principle of giving. The Bible says that you should love the Lord with all your heart, all your mind, and all your soul. And then it says that you should love your neighbor as yourself. So when it comes to giving, if you love your neighbor or any person, that's any person, as much as you love yourself, what you will give that person is the same type of things that you would like given to you. In other words, you give something of value. We don't want to give someone some shoes that are so run over that you have to lay down to put them on. That's just using another form of throwing something away. But we're talking about giving. We're talking about sharing enough to give things that are very nice. When we do this, God says in this text that God blesses you, that he will bless you greater than the giving that you've done. So we sing this song in church, right? You can't be God-giving no matter how hard you try. That applies to everything. Every gift that comes from the Lord is always better than the gift that you give out. And I want to share this with you in the context of planting a seed. Let's say, for example, you like tomatoes. Do you know you can take a bag of tomatoes that probably has 10 to 15 seeds in them, spread them out and plant them in good soil, and in a few weeks, you'll start getting a tomato plant from most of those seeds. And the tomato plant will grow up and have multiple tomatoes that are filled with seeds. And that's an example of how God is, that whatever we plant in the lives of others, God makes sure that what comes back to us is greater, much greater than what we've given out. And so he says in this text, "Give and it shall be given unto you." But he doesn't stop there. He doesn't suggest to you that what you give will come back. No, he says, "And it shall be given to you." How? Good measure. In other words, more than what you've given. But even more so than that, good measure, pressed down, shaken together so you can get more space, more in there, and running over. In other words, it's an abundance that overflows what God gives us in return for our giving to him or his people. And so in this season, I want to encourage you, feel good about the idea of giving. Don't allow your mind to become embittered, because the Bible says the Lord loves a cheerful giver. And it's not just giving to the church. He's talking about giving to others. So allow the Spirit of the Lord to work in you this week, today. And as you give, understand, you can't be God-giving no matter how hard you try. And let him pour into you the very things that you need for yourself and your family. Be encouraged today. If this helps you, take a moment to like and subscribe so that you'll get these updates every day from Pastor Bell. God bless you. Have a great weekend.